Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of like AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to...
Brittney Griner is once again under the spotlight, but this time it's not for what she said. A shocking leaked photo has set the internet ablaze, reigniting years-old rumors and conspiracy theories. Viewers claim Griner accidentally confessed her true identity after posting a now-deleted Instagram video, shirtless, no sports bra, no surgery scars, and no explanation. Within hours, "I'm a grown man" trended on X as fans and critics alike demand answers. Is the WNBA star hiding something in plain sight?
Everybody knows who Brittney Griner is, and if you don't know who Brittney Griner is, she is the WNBA star that we traded a weapons terrorist for about a year ago. And recently, a momentous personal occasion has happened for her.
You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling?
Pops.
Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
Now look, man, it's 2024. I don't care if a woman and a woman want to have a kid together. Good on that. More power to them. But it's just so weird to me. You want your son to call you Pops, and whenever his friends ask, what does your dad do for a living? He's supposed to say, oh, he plays in the WNBA. Now
In a recent interview, Griner beamed while announcing she's becoming a parent, adding Pops. On its face, a beautiful sentiment. But online, the reaction was anything but supportive. You want your kids to call you Pops, but say you play in the WNBA? Critics argued the contradiction was too much. If Griner identifies as male, why still compete in a women's league?
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have.
And this isn't the first time Griner's gender identity has made headlines. Sports commentator Stephen A. Smith once highlighted that Griner was placed in a male prison during her detainment in Russia. How ironic is that? At the time, it sparked a wave of speculation. Why would Russian authorities categorize her that way unless they had a reason? Now, with the new footage, those old questions are back, and louder than ever.
The latest on Brittney Griner, the WNBA star, is now in a penal colony in Russia. This morning, we're learning more on how she's doing as she faces harsh new conditions. And Stephanie...
Even mainstream media chimed in. A Good Morning America segment from 2 years ago confirmed Griner was being held in penal colony IK2, an infamous Russian facility known for harsh conditions. But what raised eyebrows? That facility's classification, a men's penal colony. At the time, her lawyers sidestepped the issue, focusing instead on the conditions and legal appeal. Critics want to know, was this a mistake or confirmation of what's been suspected for years?
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram.
The unusual suspects jumped headfirst into the viral chaos surrounding the recently unearthed Brittney Griner video. Known for their blunt, sarcastic takes, the hosts didn't hold back as they dissected the clip and the outrage it unleashed online. They pointed out the irony in how Griner, who has long played in the WNBA as a woman, had previously been held in a male Russian prison, a detail they noted with heavy sarcasm and raised eyebrows.
Just last September, Brittney Griner is discussing new fans in the WNBA. Now, let me get it right. The W, Chad. The question that she's going to hear is, hey, now that you're back in the W, what do you think about these new fans? What do you think about the growth that the league has seen? It had to be a layup and a positive answer, right?
How do you feel about what has happened over the past year with the W since you first came in to where it is now? And obviously the game has grown and people have... There's new fans, but how do you appreciate the new fans without all the noise that's coming?
I don't appreciate the new fans that sit there and yell racial slurs at myself, my teammates, and the people that I play against. Because yeah, those might be opponents, but those are friends too. You know, like they don't deserve that. So I don't appreciate the new fans. I think it's okay to do that.
I was just immediately going towards the racist fans.
Yeah.
As the first thought for Brittney Griner, and then she's on the bench after fouling out, and
fast forward to her return to the WNBA, Griner was asked how the game had changed since her Russian detainment. Her answer, calling out racist fans and demanding more league accountability. It was a strong statement, but for many, it rang hollow. How can someone who allegedly used the phrase white-ficking trash against rookie sensation Caitlin Clark now stand on a platform of equality? Critics saw it as hypocrisy. You can't demand respect if you're caught disrespecting others. On a recent episode of the Outkick podcast, the host confronted the controversy without hesitation. They argued the issue extended beyond race or gender. At its core, it was about credibility. While the league remained noticeably silent, the podcast broke down the viral Caitlin Clark incident frame by frame, drawing stark contrasts between Griner's alleged actions and her past remarks condemning hate speech. The analysts pointed to what they saw as a glaring double standard within the sports world. Part of the tension, some say, stems from deep-rooted jealousy. As Caitlin Clark rapidly ascends to become the new face of the WNBA, Brittney Griner's own spotlight has started to dim, largely due to repeated injuries and a noticeable decline in her athletic dominance. Once considered untouchable in the league, Griner is now facing the uncomfortable reality of being eclipsed. Many believe it's not just about what was said, but why it was said, and who it was directed at. Conservative commentator Ben Shapiro also entered the fray, dissecting the leaked audio that reportedly captures Griner uttering the slur "Fef King White Trash," aimed at Caitlin Clark. Shapiro questioned why the league hadn't launched an investigation, especially given its public stance on inclusivity and equality. He emphasized the clear double standard in the treatment of racial controversies, asking why hate speech is tolerated when it doesn't fit mainstream media narratives. Amy Dangerfield didn't stop at the viral photo. She took it further, pointing to what she calls an identity contradiction. Griner proudly identifies as black, which no one disputes. She also identifies as gay and as a woman, but critics argue that her physicality, behavior, and personal claims suggest otherwise. It's a question that's gaining traction online, especially among former athletes and parents of young girls in sports. Despite the growing storm, the WNBA has remained silent. No statement, no investigation, no acknowledgement of the controversy. This is especially shocking given the league's very public stance on racism and equality. The official league motto, "No space for hate," now rings hollow to many fans, who wonder where the policy stands when the accused is a high-profile player like Griner. Tensions boiled over recently during a post-game interview. As the reporter asked Griner a routine question, she suddenly turned, storming off mid-sentence to confront a group of fans heckling from the stands. Cameras captured her shouting and aggressively stepping toward the crowd before being pulled back by teammates and security. Veteran commentator Jason Whitlock reacted swiftly, using the viral video as a case study for what he called the masculinity gap in women's sports. He argued that if this kind of behavior, profane, aggressive, intimidating, came from a male athlete in a men's league, it would be considered normal. But when it comes from someone in the WNBA, it crosses a different line. Whitlock didn't hold back, suggesting that Griner doesn't just play like a man, she acts like one too. Amy Dangerfield circled back to the political side of the controversy, referencing former President Donald Trump's firm stance on keeping biological men out of women's sports. She pointed out the glaring contradiction between national policy momentum under Trump and what's actually happening in high-profile leagues like the W. Despite years of debate and executive action aimed at preserving fairness in women's athletics, Griner's continued presence raises questions about whether those rules are truly being enforced or simply ignored when it's convenient.
For a while now, but it's really kind of come to a head on Twitter over the last couple of days, that Brittney Griner, the WNBA's Brittney Griner, is in fact a man. And where a lot of this actually surfaced from, and I mean, you guys could probably say like, yo, isn't it obvious? Like her voice, you know, there's a lot of things that you can kind of look towards. However, this video actually resurfaced. It's an Instagram story from, I believe it says 109 weeks ago. I can't see from here, but
the controversy gained even more momentum online when commentator Bill Sobel weighed in, pointing to Brittney Griner's treatment during her time in Russian custody. Sobel's post resonated with a growing number of critics who believe that international standards inadvertently exposed a truth the American sports world continues to ignore.
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't give a fuck about women's sports, and I think that most people probably don't care about women's sports, except the women who have been training their whole life to make it on a women's sports team. And in both the instances that you just described, like if this is a successful transition and Brittney is on cross-sex hormones, that means that Brittney has more testosterone, artificially induced testosterone in their system than their female counterparts who they're playing with on the team. So it's on.
A wave of social media users has recently reignited debate surrounding Brittney Griner after a video clip surfaced focusing not on the play but on her voice. Dozens of posts began analyzing the sound of her voice, with some claiming it doesn't align with traditional expectations for female athletes. On The Unusual Suspects, Amy addressed the escalating social media debate surrounding Brittney Griner, particularly tweets that focused on her voice and physical appearance. She noted how public attention had veered away from actual gameplay and moved into personal territory. Amy pointed to a recent Instagram story in which Griner appeared shirtless, a clip that some online users began circulating, speculating about her body. Amy continued her commentary by shifting the focus to the women who dedicate their entire lives to training and competing in women's sports. She acknowledged that while the general public may not heavily follow women's leagues, the athletes within them deserve a level playing field. When individuals with significantly higher testosterone levels or different physical attributes are allowed to compete, it can undermine the integrity of the sport. Amy emphasized that this isn't just about identity or politics, it's about fairness for the athletes who built their careers under the assumption of equitable standards. The women who lose out on scholarships, starting roles, or professional contracts because of these disparities are rarely part of the mainstream conversation. The situation with Brittney Griner, in her view, isn't isolated. It's emblematic of a broader issue affecting the future of women's athletics. The controversy surrounding Brittney Griner continues to stir intense debate, from leaked audio clips and on-court confrontations to viral footage sparking speculation about her gender and behavior. The discussion has moved far beyond basketball. Critics point to moments they interpret as aggressive or racially charged, while supporters call out the disproportionate scrutiny she faces. What do you think? Are fans overreacting, or is this a moment of reckoning for the league and its stars? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into sports, culture, and controversy. Your voice matters. Join the conversation.